Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you are new here, my name is Hattie and I am a wellness bodybuilder. So for today, I have put on my story on Instagram. If you're not already following, go check it out. I'll leave the link below. I put up a story about a week ago for a question box just to kind of see what people wanted to know, and I thought it'd be fun just to kind of like have a little bit of a sit down chat. You guys can probably try and get to know me a little bit better that way as well. And yeah, I thought it would just be kind of fun. So let's get into it. I think there are some juicy ones, I'm not gonna lie. We will start off with the normal, shall we say. So someone asked, what is your maintenance calories? I don't know. I honestly do not know. I have only ever been aware of my calories once when I tried to macro track, and that attempt went in the fucking bin. Just because I just didn't manage it very well, and I was loosely following. I think the highest it got in my last off-season tracking was like 2,200 on a training day and 2,000, or maybe I think it was 2.6 on a training day and 2.2 on a rest day. But in terms of maintenance, I don't know. And as well, what with coming in and out of diet phases and building phases, it's always going to change. So you'll get to a point where when you diet down and then when you reverse out properly, you can build it up, and you could potentially build up your maintenance calories each time you diet. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I don't know. I don't know what my maintenance calories are. And to be honest, I'm not that bothered. I don't need to know. I pay my coach to write me a meal plan and I just eat what's on there, pretty much. Next one, someone's asked two questions. First was, when did you first know you wanted to compete? So I was gently pushed in the direction of bodybuilding, should we say, mid to late 21. And I didn't want to compete, to be honest. As I said, I was kind of like steered in that direction. I was more than happy to try it. I didn't know if it was something I wanted to do, didn't know much about it, and things kind of progressed from there. And thankfully, it turned out for the best. And I do know that this is what I want to do, obviously, because I spend my whole fucking life bodybuilding shit. But yeah, so I guess you could say like towards the end of that prep, which was early 2022, then I was like, okay, cool, I think this is what I want to do. But even at the start of that prep, I was never really in the mindset of this is definitely what I want to do. So yeah, about 2022, so about 2 years ago. And then they also asked, what are some of the less obvious challenges with prepping for a comp? This one I actually really like, because on the surface, I think people think that prepping is not easy, but they glamorize prep a lot of the time. So especially with females, you see the glitz and the glam, you do the whole show day makeup, everything's nice and sparkly and elegant, you choose your bikinis, and that's all like a massive thing in itself. Like everything's very, ooh, showy, which is great. But to actually get to that point is really, really fucking hard. Like, don't underestimate prep as a whole. People will probably think that hunger and tiredness is probably the hardest thing. Now, obviously I haven't prepped for 2 years, but I'd say for me personally, I think it's dealing with other people, in the sense that prep is your choice. No one's making you do it. So you don't have a right to take your issues out on other people. And by that, I mean, you're hungry, you're tired, you're depleted, you don't want to do something, don't go and moan at them because they're not making you do it. And in turn, you've got people, or I did anyway, that just wouldn't understand, and they'd be really confused as to why I couldn't go and do something, or why I couldn't go out for food, or like why I didn't want to go and do stuff. And at the end of the day, that was my choice. Like, I was wanting to prep and I was wanting to go through all of that. And so to try and continuously explain to people what I was doing it for, and that I'm not there to please them in that period of time, was really, really hard. So it kind of affected social life, obviously. It was a little bit difficult, but I'd say the idea of letting people down during that time was quite difficult for me, like the emotional side of things. So I guess that's probably one that people don't really take into account. It could be quite an isolating sport at times, because you are selfish. At the end of the day, you know, you've got boxes to tick every single day for weeks on end, and you have to put in 100% effort to get to where you want to, and that does mean sacrificing different things along the way. So yeah, definitely that I think was probably one of the hardest things for me, and I'd say is pretty underrated for prepping. Next one is, do you and did you find it hard after prep to stay motivated? Yes, I did. After my first prep, I had probably the lowest point I've ever had in terms of mentally and physically. It was a bit of a shit show. I didn't reverse out very well. I really struggled. I mean, I'm happy to go into it in another video if you guys want to know. I don't want to go into too much detail now, but borderline ED issues, really struggling mentally with food and food relationship. It was a big thing for me, and with that, you know, your whole motivation just for me went in the floor. Like, it was gone, it was non-existent. I didn't want to train, I didn't want to stick to plan, I didn't want to do anything. So in particular, coming out of prep was really difficult. Post diet phases, I haven't really struggled too much because I've got to a point now where I genuinely love the gym, I love training, so it's a little easier, and I've not been that depleted since prep. So it's not been too bad, but yeah, I definitely did struggle for quite a while. And by a while, I'll probably say a good few months, thinking back, but yeah. Next one is, what are your favorite lower and upper body exercises? I've not actually thought about this before. I don't know. I think legs, I think it's probably going to be pendulum and leg press, I think. They're just, they're beautiful. They are some of the best movements for me to lock in. And by that, I mean, I can shut the world out and I can just get on and do my set. And I can put a lot of emotion into training, which really benefits me. And I just enjoy it. Like, some days, yeah, it's not gonna go to plan and you might not progress, but it's something that the pain of that movement, I love. Maybe a little bit of psycho, I guess. But no, I really enjoy those. Split squats as well for single leg movements. Absolute horrible exercise. However, the connection and the pump, I've got to say I love it. I've got to say. And then upper, I would say a variation of a lat pull down, which is weird because I used to hate training back, and probably maybe lateral raises, maybe like a variation of that. I usually do cuffed or crucifix raises. So yeah, I'd say that they're like my go-to. What's your height and age? I am 24, 25 in September, and my height, I believe I am 5'7". I don't know, I'm pretty sure I am. I don't regularly check my height, but I'm pretty sure I'm about 5'7". You do the working out as to what that is in centimeters, because I don't know that. Would you rather date someone smaller than you or weaker than you? Now, I've done both. My ex was both smaller and, well, he was definitely smaller than me leg-wise. And I mean, not to toot my own horn, but it's kind of going to be like a common thing with these legs, just saying. But in terms of where I am now, 100% I'm stronger than what he was then, but I don't know where he's at. So it's not something that I'm like, I haven't done. But I think now I'd really struggle to go out with someone smaller than me, just because as much as I want to grow muscle, I like to feel like the female in the relationship. I want to be smaller, I want to be protected, I want to know that my man is there to like go beat someone up if it needs it. I'm not recommending it, but you know, just feel a little bit protected. Weaker, is it an ick? Is it an ick? I don't know. I think I'd probably choose smaller over weaker. They can lift what they want. If they look good and they're lifting like pussy weight, then whatever, so be it. But, how big are your biceps and quads? I don't know. Have I got a tape measure? Should we measure them? Have I actually got one? No joke. Have I got one?
One eternity later.
How big? Right. Your girl's prepared, innit? No joke, I'm sure I've had multiple people ask like the size of my biceps before. This is not unusual. That's what we're looking like at the minute. Do we want centimeters or inches? Centimeters probably easier. How the hell am I? That's inches. Oh fuck. What are your guesses? Is this like a good size for a bicep, shall we say? It is 13, I think. I don't know how well I've like done that, but we're gonna say 13. We'll go with that. Quads, I'm thinking they said. Bear in mind, this is no pump. Just putting it out there. So what did you do today, H? Well, I measured my quad and my bicep for the internet to see, as you do. 27 centimeters, which is, what's that? 27 inches, that's not right. Have I just done this completely wrong? No, that is inches. So what am I doing? Why can't I use a tape measure? Why can't I do it? Oh, fuck knows. Either way, I'm gonna say 27 centimeters. Is that good? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to measure them again, like the end of this diet phase, to do a little comparison. But there you go, 13 and 27. If you wanted to know, and now you do. What part of your body do you find hardest to grow? Straight off the bat, I'd probably say upper back and shoulders. But that being said, I've not dieted down to see what is lacking. So looking back to skinny ass me at the end of prep, I was tiny. I was a child, and I needed mass everywhere. My quads, I think, probably come up the quickest, I'd say. But yeah, it's hard to say what has grown more significantly than others, because I carry a lot of fat on my lower. So when I get lean, it will kind of show then as to how much muscle I've actually built everywhere, if that makes sense. Because at the minute, I don't really know, but I would probably say my upper, because I'm very narrow. I don't have naturally broad shoulders, and even my torso, I'm just quite petite. So I'd say, yeah, upper is definitely harder to grow. But yeah, they were pretty much all the people that didn't mind telling me who they were. Now onto the anonymous ones, because everybody loves that. I just find it funny because literally nobody has the balls to say it to your face. I just find it funny. So let's start. How does it feel to have a 1 out of 10 face? How does it feel to have a 1 out of 10 personality? I'm not bothered. I'm really, really not bothered. I can disguise it with makeup. It's all good. And you know what? At least it's 1. At least it's not 0 or a negative. You know, I'm not too bothered. So I don't feel anyway about that. How do you get in touch with your photographers? Do they approach you? So for those of you that don't know, I do a lot of modeling. So I am actually on websites specifically targeted for models and photographers reaching out to each other. So that is how I usually get most of my work. Other people will tend to message me on Instagram, which is absolutely fine. But if you don't hear from me or you don't get a reply, it is my way of being polite and I don't want to engage with you. Sorry, I do have standards. In the nicest way possible, I have standards. So yeah, we've got some really random ones on here, to be fair. Where did you meet your boyfriend? For those of you that know me and you are close to me, you know the story. The rest of you, I don't think it needs to come online. I don't think the ins and outs need to be publicised. But long story short, it was at a nightclub. Classy. I spent the majority of my year of 19, was I 19? About that, yeah. I spent the majority of my time there, so that was fun. What's your BC? I can only presume that you mean body count. And well, last time I checked, I only had 1 body, so I'm gonna say 1. Fave thing about yourself. Do I wanna be like proper out there and be like, yeah, I'm feeling myself, I'm gonna say everything I love about myself? No, I don't know. I really, really don't know. I hate these sort of questions. You know, when you go to interviews and it's like, so what are you really good at? What do you rate yourself about? Like different things. I don't know. I really, really don't know. I'm not saying that I've got nothing good going for me, not at all, but I generally don't know. I find it really, really hard to kind of, I don't know what the word is. Speak highly of myself sometimes, I guess. I'd like to think that I'm the type of person that will get on well with everyone. I like the fact that I can just gel with people and I can go up and have a conversation and kind of not be a dick. unless you piss me off, in which case, well, you brought it on yourself. I don't know, I guess that's really hard. I don't know, can we just skip that one? If I think of something, we'll circle back to it, because this is what I mean, I don't know. Not a question, but you have a banging ass. Cheers, mate, working hard on it, so thanks very much for noticing. What else have we got? How tall are you again? Yeah, kids in the future or cool auntie? I don't know if I want kids. I really, really don't know, because right now I'm in a position that I could not imagine myself having kids now. So I don't know where my life is going to be in like 5-10 years time. Like, I can't imagine that. I'm just kind of going day by day, as it were. So it's really hard to picture, okay, will I be in a position where I will eventually want them? Right now it's a firm no. I want to be like a fur baby mum. I'm still yet to adopt like a dog or a cat. Or, this is really weird. Well, I say it's weird, it's definitely not. People think it is. I want a jellyfish. No, it's, no, hear me out. They're cute. If you've been to the Sea Life Centre and you see those little baby jellyfish just blobbing around, mate, they are literally hassle-free. They don't get in the way, they don't get into your feet, they don't talk back. Who wants a child when you can have jellyfish? Tell me otherwise. So right now, no kids. Will that change in the future? I really don't know. Kind of combines with dream pet, favourite animal, jellyfish. And also I've taken an absolute liking to sheep at the moment. Like, we used to have these pet, like, they weren't even pets, they're not a pet, it's not a pet. I had pillows in the shape of a sheep. And I had a big one, a little one, and then a little baby one. And I loved them. And it was my favourite animal growing up as a child, loved it. I've been on our farm a couple of times. And then I kind of grew out that phase. And we've taken a full 360 back to it, because I went to a farm the other day with my friend and I felt truly at peace. And I've never felt so happy feeding a baby lamb in my life. So I'm gonna say sheep. If I could have a pet sheep, I would. Our garden's big enough, I'm just not allowed, so just wait for the day I'll get a sheep. What made you get into bodybuilding? Kind of touched on it at the start. So I moved away at the start of lockdown and I went to the Isle of Man. Big up Isle of Man. Very strange move, quarter life crisis. You know, it hits sometimes. And I was not comfortable in myself. I didn't really go to the gym. I'd split up with my ex, I left my job, I'd left all my friends and everything like that. And yeah, I randomly just went to the Isle of Man. I do have family there, I've got a granddad there, so I lived with him. But yeah, peak lockdown, I was just not comfortable in myself and my physique and how I looked. And I've never been a skinny girl, I've never been very toned, as it were. I've always been on the bigger side. Like, that's just how it's been. So I was like, you know what, I've got nothing else to do. Let's kind of like learn a little bit more about myself, how I can better my physique and know what I should and shouldn't eat and all of that good stuff. So I signed up to an online coach one night, and then yeah, like the ball rolled, and we started a massive plan as to how I was going to diet and this, that and the other. Did I stick to it? No. But that was the start of learning. I learned a lot about myself. We then decided to do a photo shoot prep. Again, it was in and out of lockdown. So even on the Isle of Man, there were several like splits of lockdown, like we'd come in and out. So when we were going back into it, obviously the gyms were closed. So naturally I fell off and I just wouldn't really stick to my plan. I didn't really lose that much weight. It was what it was. So we pushed the photo shoot back, and that was for about July or August 2021 is when I did the photo shoot. And about 2 weeks before then, my coach said to me, bearing in mind, he had actually already mentioned it a couple of times, and he always said, do you want to compete? And I said, no, not for me, don't want to do it. And 2 weeks before my shoot, he's like, right, we're going to get you on stage March next year. Okay. And in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, he's asked me a couple of times. He's really wanting me to kind of go for it. Surely there's a reason as to why. Maybe he thinks I'll do all right. Maybe I'll look good. Maybe this is kind of like the reason that will make me stick to a diet. FYI, do not use that as an excuse to stick to a diet, because trust me, it will not end well. So yeah, that's essentially what got me into it, was a little bit of a push in said direction, and me just naively going into bodybuilding. It was never something I planned on. I wanted to just be a little bit of a gym goer and look relatively good and feel happy in my skin. And then yeah, next minute, you know, I was on stage and here we are. But I highly, highly recommend, if you are starting out, don't just automatically think the next step is bodybuilding. Make sure you go into it for the right reasons, because there's a lot of stuff that can not go wrong, but like food relationship, body dysmorphia, all that good stuff, you know, be prepared, basically. Next one. Ooh, what's it like having a chest like a 14-year-old boy? Well, unless we're looking at some severely overweight, obese 14-year-olds, I'm pretty sure I've got a little bit more than them. Plus the fact, you can buy tits, you can't buy ass. So who's really at a loss? Not me. I have a funny feeling as well that this was the same person sending them in, so thanks for the entertainment, because they all came in an influx. You are definition, English. You a definition of permabulk. Look like you are suffering from a severe condition of blobma. I mean, I don't really have a response to that other than, can you be a little bit more inventive, a little bit more creative? Because yeah, no response needed really. How does it feel training so much and looking like you don't even go to the gym? How does it feel not being able to speak to women directly? Are you not worried about virilization as you already look like a man from the waist up? Last I checked, I'm pretty sure I don't. So that's just a personal opinion. For those of you that don't know, virilization is when you go on PEDs and they can cause changes in your physique and your body and your characteristics, and they become more manly. Therefore, lower voice, jawline, changes in your genital area. So yeah, you didn't mention that. You didn't mention that changing, so clearly that's not an issue for you. So yeah, they were fun. Thanks for the entertainment. What's the weirdest thing you've been asked to do on OF? I don't know. Not many of them are super weird. I mean, your standard selling socks, pants. Actually, I'd probably say the weirdest one for me personally, disclaimer, I have not done it and I will not do it. Someone wanted me to shit in a bag. That was a hard no. I mean, where do you even put it after? I'm not putting a human shit in the wheelie bin. But then I'm also not gonna fish it out the bag and shove it down. No. I'm sorry. No. Just a no. Who? No. If you were in a relationship and that stuff turns you on, mate, you've got problems. Like, please go speak to a therapist, because that's not on. Like, I actually think, no, it's one thing doing anal, but to actually actively watch and want to be involved in shit that comes out your ass, solid no. Moving on. Do you accept pay pics? Well, you know my Instagram. What other ones? Is your boyfriend okay with you having OnlyFans? Yes, he is. He is very supportive of it, to be fair, in the nicest way. So yeah. Are your close friends and family supportive of your sport and your job? I was actually just chatting to Kyle before this, and this to me is actually an important one, because I have some amazing friends, and I love them all dearly, and they are the best thing in the world. And every one of my close friends has been immensely supportive of everything that I do, from my job, my life choices, my competitive side of bodybuilding, what I've decided to do in terms of my life, moving away. So everybody that's in my life right now in terms of my close friendship circle, very supportive. Flip side, it's actually become a little bit of a detriment to a relationship with one of my family members, which is hard. It's definitely hard to deal with, given who it is, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but They will always love me as much as I will always love them, and there's always going to be a relationship there. It's just not what it was, and I don't know if it ever will be what it was, which is a shame, and it's really, really difficult to deal with, if I'm honest, but they've never once openly said that they support what I do. They did at the start in terms of bodybuilding, very, very supportive. You know, they came to a show, they were good. They didn't quite understand it, but they made an effort to be happy for me and my choices. As things have gone on over the last 2 years, and obviously the progression in what I do for work and the line of work that I do, they're not best pleased, shall we say. Which, at the end of the day, it's my decision, it's my body, it's my life. I'm going to choose what I do with it, whether that's good or bad in their opinion, or even as you guys, as viewers watching this and obviously having a bit of an insight into my life, you know, you can have your opinion. There was a lot of opinions on my last video about saying I'm not natural. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you've got to do. And, you know, you're only on this planet once. And as cringy as that sounds, you've got no one else to please but yourself. So you may lose friends and family along the way, but if you know that you're doing what you're doing for the right reasons, then that's all you can really do. So that's kind of the situation with that. Have we got any more? Gym icks. Bare feet in the gym. We already know this. It's disgusting. It's how you get diseases. Put your fucking socks on, or shoes, or something. Just something. Even a paper bag. It'll be much more clean than like just bare feet. What else? Gym icks. People who actively make it look like they're lifting really heavy weight just to prove a point. Like, they will be so loud and aggressive and scream and grunt, almost moan on a machine. And like, you look at the weight and you're like, no. Not putting down like certain weights, but you know, when it's just not like, it's not even impressive. Like, you're clearly not struggling, you're just showing off. Like, please shut the fuck up. Like, no, I don't want to hear that. If I wanted to, then I would actively go up to you and say like, say this in my ear, but no, just no. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably like my main ones. Icks in men. I would say this one's weird. So this was kind of like a fashion thing. I feel like it was a fashion thing. Chinos, but like short. So not 3/4 length, not long, but like maybe that much above the ankle. And then like your classic white Alexander McQueen kind of style shoe, but then it looked like they had no socks on and their ankle was just there, just there. I don't like it. No, I couldn't get on board with that fashion. If you still do it, it's up to you. I just don't like it. Men with longer fingernails than me, I don't like that. No, I feel like a lot of dirt and shit can get up there. And it's just, I mean, I know where a lot of men put their fingers, and if they're dirty, no, absolutely not. What else? What other not gym icks, but men icks. Oh, you know what? I actually think I probably have a lot more, but it's just like until you're in it in the moment, then you won't know. I feel like I know I have lots. I'm not fussy, that's the thing. It's just like general standards, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to think of some more. I don't know. I don't know. Any more travel vlogs? Now you mention it. It's Tuesday and I go in 2 days. I go in less than 48 hours and I cannot find my passport at home. So yeah, we'll see. Potentially going to Germany. If I do go, it is for FIBO, which is a fitness expo in Germany, obviously in Cologne, and it, I believe, is the largest expo in Europe. And I only found out about it last year. I didn't know much of it before then, so I've never been. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going. It will be me, Piers, and our mates Phil and Kaz, which is going to be super exciting. And then we've got 2 days of the expo, which will be, we go Thursday, we'll have Friday, Saturday there, and then Sunday, Monday, we have to do our own thing, and then we come back Tuesday. So I've actually been to Cologne before, but I'm excited just to have like a change of scenery and see what's about and like just go and chill. Obviously, I'm still going to be dieting, so no food for me. But no, it'll be nice to just go in, chill. Ooh, what's the biggest toy you own? Well, as of last week, Piers actually bought me a hippo. I am very much obsessed with Jellycat toys. They're the kind of toys that I like. So I'm gonna say Mr. Hippo, which was adopted into the family the other week. But I have lots. I've got a hippo, I've got a elephant, I've got 2 rabbits, I've got a sheep, I've got a chick. So yeah, I've got a bit of a collection going, but I'd say the biggest is the hippo. So there, news. Any tattoos? Yes, there's one. I've got one on the back of my ankle and technically 2 here because they were done at different times. So yeah, 4. But I might actually get them all removed just for like modeling purposes. We shall see. Are shoe heels really uncomfortable? They look it. Yes, they are really, really uncomfortable. I'm not a heel kind of gal. If you see me out in heels, then I've been forced to wear them, or I feel that uncomfortable wearing flats around other girls that I've guilted myself into wearing heels. I don't like them, never have, never will. Just, it's uncomfortable, really, really uncomfortable. Like why, it's essentially walking around on your tiptoes. How is that comfortable? But given that I'm not a heel kind of girl and I've got to wear heels for stage, it just doesn't bode well. So 1, it's uncomfortable, and 2, I just don't like it at all. So short answer, yes. Would you ever do any other sport? I don't know. I find that this is a common thing nowadays. At school, I was the least sporty person going, least fitness girly, everything, hated it. I skipped PE, I wouldn't turn up, I would go and sit in the library. I did everything I could to not do sports at school. Even sports day, wouldn't do it, would not do it. I think that kind of like stopped when I got into secondary school. Year 6, I loved rounders, but yeah, secondary school hit and I was like, time out, not playing, not doing it. So I was never really into sports. I never did anything. So if I weren't doing bodybuilding, would I do another sport? I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I feel like I would just do the gym. I can't think of any other sport that I would enjoy. I wouldn't do netball, I wouldn't do basketball, I wouldn't do tennis, I wouldn't do squash, I wouldn't run. I'm not on that hype at the minute. You know, everyone's going for like high rock stuff. There's a big thing about high rocks and everything. I'm just, no, it doesn't do it for me. So I'm probably gonna say no, I wouldn't do anything else other than the gym because I genuinely can't think of anything. I mean, might do one day, but right now I don't know. What else have we got? Smile and chin up because you are fulfilling your dream and challenging yourself, and this is great. Thank you. Thank you to whoever said that. That was really kind. Does getting your lips done hurt? Not really. Obviously you can feel it, but I kind of like the pain. It's just quite enjoyable, like, because I know what the after is going to be, and I'm like, just fill them up. So not that bad. Can you do a what I eat in a day video for prep? I can, if you would like to see, for sure. I don't know if it would fill an entire YouTube video. I don't know, we can try it. I might add it into like a little vlog or something, but yeah, I eat the same stuff every day, but I can show you. What's your favorite sport to watch live apart from bodybuilding? Big fat zero. I'm sorry. I don't watch football. I hate it. I don't watch rugby. The only one I watch live, as in like TV live, is the Olympics. I enjoy watching that because you end up seeing loads of different sports that aren't that common. Like, you don't often sit down and watch diving or gymnastics like in the middle of the year. Like, you just don't. So I'd say the Olympics, which is what, every 4 years? So that's probably how often I watch sports, to be honest. Spit or swallow? Wouldn't you like to know? And right now you don't, and you're not gonna know. What else have we got? You mentioned on your story about being on anxiety meds. Who do you talk to about your feelings? Do you have supportive friends? Love your content, by the way. Thank you very much. So yes, I did put on my story that I am currently on medication for anxiety. I have suffered with anxiety since about year 8, year 9-ish. So I'm gonna say, how old was I then? 14, 15. So yeah, about 8, 9 years. I really struggled at school. I had, I went to school counsellor, did all the little things that you did at school. I just spoke to my friends mostly, and then as I left school, I immediately went into full-time work. When I was 16, got a job, moved out, and that did me the world of good. Having my independence, looking after myself, having to support myself, and like manage everything really did help me. And I kind of got to a point where certain things would trigger, like especially social anxiety is what I struggle with most. So there would be certain trigger points and times, but it was just a way of managing it. And then probably about a year ago, maybe 10 months, things kind of started to circle back and got a little bit worse again. And it was to the point that it affected me at the gym. I really struggled, considering that the gym is like my safe, happy place. It was getting to the point that it wasn't. I didn't want to go. I had anxiety pre-gym, not even just like preset anxiety, like when you know you're going to lift heavy. It was like, I don't want to go to the gym, like I don't feel comfortable. I had no idea what kind of like brought it on or anything like that. I just really struggled. So when it started affecting that part of my life, which is such a big important aspect, I was like, I need a little bit of help. So I went to the doctors and I spoke to them, and I was put on medication. So I am currently taking sertraline. I wouldn't recommend someone to just take it because they think they feel anxious. Obviously, as I said, this is something I've struggled with for a good few years, and only recently have I been medicated. And that's because I was struggling to manage it on my own. And that's for me personally. Like I wouldn't go outright and say, oh, if you have anxiety, the first thing you need to do is go on meds. Absolutely not. So for me, I would say talk to friends, talk to family. There's lots of online therapy sessions you could do. There's like anonymous calls I think you can do as well. There's certain things online and you can literally just call someone up, or you can book in for meetings. Me personally, I don't like sharing my personal shit with other people. I've never liked it, never really enjoyed it, apart from when I was forced to at school. I've never gone out of my way to tell someone what I'm struggling with at that moment in time. I tend to deal with my stuff, and once I've kind of gone through it in my own head and I've started to come out the other side, then I'll kind of open up to those that are close to me and explain what's been going on. I don't talk about the here and now. So that's just me personally. So obviously trying counselling and therapy wasn't really a go-to at that point, hence why I went on meds. So that's kind of like the situation with that. Not embarrassed or afraid to say that I'm on them. I think it's very common nowadays. I would never want anybody to feel like they can't do something because of it, because I've been there, done that, and it's shit. So if anybody's struggling and you want to talk to someone or anything like that, then feel free to give me a message, obviously on Instagram or whatever, because it's not nice. It's really not nice. And I think people underestimate a lot of mental health stuff. You know, people always support it and they're like all for helping people out, and I find they are until it becomes their problem. So say if I was to offload it onto someone else and they're like, oh, it's affecting me now, then they don't want to know about it. That's what pisses me off. They're like, yeah, like I really support mental health, anxiety, depression, this, that and the other. The minute it affects them, they're out the door. So that's what I don't like about it. But yeah, so that's kind of like the situation with that. And I've got some very supportive friends. As I said, like the people that are close to me are very close. I've got 2 best friends from school, so they've been in my life now for near on 8-9 years, and they're like family now, so very lucky to have them, and you know who you are. Okay, so here's one. When this came through, honestly, I could not stop laughing. Why? Because there's only one way that they would know, and it honestly, like, there's people on here, I find, that anonymously they'll try and say something that they think is going to affect you, and it's because whatever it is, it would affect them. So mentally they think, oh yeah, I'm bothering her, I'm getting under the skin, I'm annoying her, I'm being like really rude. You're not, it's just funny. Someone has said, why do you have a Rice Krispie in your crack? Saving it for later, post-nut snack. Well, there's only one way, FYI, it's not a crispy, it's a mole. I am not embarrassed. It's a human thing. People have moles, people have different things with their skin, whatever. Yes, I have a mole at the bottom of my back, not quite in my crack. It's not in my arsehole, so it's fine. It's just at the bottom of my back. So that's what it is. But the only way you would know is if you'd had a little look on my page, because I don't think it's that obvious on my Instagram, love. So yeah, joke's on you, because you clearly like me enough to go and want to pay and spend money on me. So that's kind of fun. And yeah, what other ones? I think we've actually done most of them. Just things like favourite colour. I don't have one. I mean, I dress in black. Black, white and grey are like my go-to clothes colours. But I say maybe like a teal or a blue is my favourite. How's the office going? I did an office renovation at home for my home office. Check it out on TikTok if you want to see, but it is all done now. It is done, so you can go check it out on there. And I think that's actually it. Favourite clothing brand, Muscle Active. Obviously, if you want some discount, Hattie 10. And also, pump cover brand is Preserver. Again, code H_EJ Fitness for 10% off. Go check them out. As always, I'll leave them in the link in the bio anyway. But yeah, they're my go-to for like gym clothes and pump covers as well. What else have I got? I think that's it. Oh, last one actually. How do you keep motivation when on prep or dieting? Simply, don't rely on motivation. In a nutshell, that is my answer. Don't rely on motivation, because motivation comes and goes, and when you don't have motivation, you ain't gonna do shit. And it's natural. It will have peaks and troughs across the board from start to finish, even in your off season, whether you're dieting, gaining, maintaining, whatever it is, you will have days of motivation wanting to go to the gym, do your steps, do your cardio, whatever. I lose my motivation to do my steps when it's raining. Like, it's literally a bit of water outside and I can't be arsed. But I have to. So as long as your goal is cemented enough in your mind and you know that that's what you want to do, then that will help you along. But the key is discipline. Once you set up that routine and you know exactly what you need to do each day, and it's just a case of ticking it off, it's almost like autopilot. You don't really think about it. Like, I have my days where I'm like, okay, on this training day, I've got this cardio. On my rest day, I've got this cardio. I've got 10,000 steps across the board. And I'll try, I'm not amazing at it, I'm not, but I'll try and get everything boxed off as early in the morning as possible, because then it saves the rest of the day for me. Obviously, that's not the same with everyone. My work hours are very flexible. So say if you're dieting and you're in a 9-to-5 job, I would say if you've got cardio, do it fasted, get it done and dusted out of the way in the morning. Then prep your food the night before or even at the weekend, and then you've got the week of prep, food prep ready to go. Then you'll know your routine of, right, okay, this day I'm training. Just set up a nice little routine. That's all it is, discipline and routine. Don't rely on motivation. Last week, my motivation was literally zero. Not just in terms of dieting, just anything. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go and see anyone. Like, general motivation was just a big fat no. And that's the thing, it comes and goes. So don't rely on just motivation. As always, just focus on discipline and actually setting yourself up for a good little routine that suits you, is what I would say. I forgot as well, some people did actually drop some comments down on my YouTube video and asked a couple of questions. Again, what's your current favorite workout? Legs, if it's not already obvious. Legs, just anything leg day. And what do you hope to accomplish this year? I hope to successfully reverse out of this diet phase, is like my main goal, because recently, the past few times I've come out of diet, I've bluntly fucked it. I've got fat real quick. And it's not been a vibe. Like, I'm not for that this year. I'm over that. So accomplish getting myself in a good place with my physique and reverse out of it properly and effectively to stand me in good stead for next year's prep is this year's main goal. Again, how tall are you? Would you give the same tips for mass building for tall and short? Yeah. So the only difference with height and building significant mass is time. For me, example, right, you've got a lot of wellness girls are fairly short. Why? Because genetically, it is better to build out. So for people who are wanting to grow big legs, the shorter you are, imagine from like the top of your thigh to your knee, you've got this much height, this much like length in your leg compared to someone with this much. Obviously the shorter one, you're going to build out quicker than you are up. And then if you're going from a larger, taller person, it's going to be much harder to grow that muscle outwards because there's more of a range to fill. So it's going to take longer to fill out a frame who is taller, but in terms of actually like training style, training wise, it shouldn't differ based on how tall or short you are. It's you as a person and how your body responds to things. Everything is designed individually. That's why you've got a coach who programs certain movements, certain exercises. Some people will find that certain movements will benefit them being taller and shorter. For example, a squat movement, a leg extension movement, it will change the pivot point, it will change where the load goes through. I personally find leg extension, I can whack up the weight a lot more, whereas somebody potentially, so like Piers, my boyfriend, he struggles with squats because he's so long on his legs, so to get that depth is a lot harder. So it's more so about catering for you as a person, not your height. So when you realize that, then just kind of go for what works for you. It's gonna take more time to fill out a taller frame, basically. That's why short people can have an advantage with wellness. So I'm gonna be the unicorn and be unique and be tall and still have whammy fucking legs and big glutes, a big fat ass. You watch. And also, the next one was what inspired you to train, and also what are your favorite workouts? Again, we kind of touched on this, inspiration for training. I didn't get inspired. I just kind of did it. It's really not an interesting story. It's not like I've looked up to someone and I've been like, oh my God, like I want to go and train. I want to hit the gym. It was, I don't feel comfortable in myself and I want to do something about it. That was pretty much it. And I fell into the gym in lockdown and then yeah, that's obviously, I've mentioned how I got into the bodybuilding side of things, but there was no real pinnacle point, which is a bit of a shame because I feel like it would be more interesting to have a bit of an inspirational story. Like, oh, it was a hard time and this happened and I watched this on TV and he really, really motivated me. No, I just was fat and I didn't like it. So I did something. Not much more to say than that. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I feel like we've answered quite a few questions. As always, if you are not following me, make sure to go and follow me over on Instagram. I've also got my TikTok as well, where I'll just post occasional things. So if there's anything that you wanna see, like in short clip versions, then obviously by all means let me know and I can whack it on TikTok or do a little video on Instagram and it can just be a little bit shorter. But yeah, thanks for the entertainment for today. That was fun going through. Hopefully you've learned a little bit more about me. Whether that's good stuff, I don't know. But hey, take it as you will. But yeah, now I'm going to go and train at the gym, which we are already in, FYI. This is Ultimate Fitness. It is Size Gym in Birmingham. Very, very good gym, and this is the first time in the podcast room, and I can tell you now, it is cool. It is a sick podcast room. So yeah, it has been fun, obviously, going through those. If anybody ever has any questions, they ever want to drop me a message, feel free to do so. Other than that, I will catch you at the next video, which will be for some training. And make sure, I don't like doing it, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see some more videos like this, because it really, really does help the channel. So yeah, I will catch you guys at the next one.